box.
Hello and welcome to Con Air, the podcast. I am Mark Shine Sweet Freedom Hoffmeyer.
And I am Jay Code Red Cluett, welcoming you aboard Chapter 15 of Con Air, the podcast, where we're flying through the 1997 action classic, one scene at a time. What happens in Chapter 15? Well, as the convicts watch the bus depart, the transferred fake convicts struggle with their restraints, provoking one of their actual guards to hit Falzon in the chest, causing Sims' recording device to fall out, alerting the guards to the situation. Starkey receives a message that the guards ain't guards, they're cons, and is instructed to stall them, but the approaching police cars alert Cyrus that the jig is up, and Starkey receives a bullet in the head for his troubles. As the jailbird moves to take off, Pinball makes a hasty retreat from female baggage handler and sprints for the plane, but as the only passenger aboard who sees him is the recently ignited Warlock, Pinball doesn't make it aboard, and the plane takes off. And joining us for Chapter 15 is a fan of the film, fan of action movies, and the resident pianist on Lampity every month on the Lambcast is David Brooke from Blueprint Review. David, welcome to the show.
Hello, pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to
have.
Always
like talking action movies.
This
is my era, this is my time. I was a teenager when this came out. It's yes, very happy to be here.
Excellent.
I think that's why I have such an affinity for 1995 to like 1999 action films.
Oh yes, yeah.
Like, starting with 94 because that's when I started going to see. I saw Time Cop in the theater in 94. But like 99, The Matrix and Deep Blue Sea and all those movies. Yeah. But like we were right in that sweet spot of Nicolas Cage's rise to prominence, right? And just all those
absolutely
all those high concept 90s action films that were.
I was about to say, yeah, high concept is my kind of sweet spot. We were just talking earlier about how I watched Life Force recently, and that anything super high concept, utterly ridiculous that would never get commissioned now, I am there. And Con Air is definitely in that kind of area.
You don't think Life Force will get made today? Surely not.
No.
I was just talking about Hard Rain on the Movies, Films, and Flicks podcast, and it's just a bank robbery during a hard rain. It's such a beautifully high concept.
I mean, to be fair, we had Hurricane Heist a couple of years ago, which is the same thing.
True.
Like Snakes on a Plane. No, that's 2000s. But like Firestorm, Chill Factor. Like I like these odd idea 90s films.
Yeah, I think the difference is as well is like Jay said, we had like Hurricane Heist, but Hurricane Heist that went like straight to DVD or whatever.
Yeah, and it's bad.
You don't get as many ridiculous films with a massive budget that come out at tentpole releases. It's basically like these days the big tentpole releases tend to be Marvel and all this kind of stuff. Nowadays we get these ridiculous films about cons in midair that are the big tentpole releases of the year, and it was just crazy.
Yeah, because Hard Rain stars mid-90s Christian Slater, Morgan Freeman, Minnie Driver. These are like huge stars of the 90s. Mm-hmm. I'm sure I forgot some people in that.
And like Deep Rising, that movie has a $70 million budget, and it's beautiful.
Hell of a cast.
Like, I just love that someone went, Deep Rising? Yeah, here's 70 mil. I'm not trying to act like an old fogey, like, oh yeah, like back in the day, because cinema has to survive. You gotta switch over all the streaming channels and everything. So I get it, but listen, Chill Factor had like a $40 million budget. It's about two guys keeping a bomb cold in an ice cream truck while they yell at each other while they evade terrorists. Like that's not, I don't know, like that's quite. In Firestorm, Howie Long fights criminals during a firestorm. One of these days, it'll get picked to be on the Lambcast, which is a large association of movie blogs, movie of the month. But I always lose.
I think you lost one for Event Horizon. So
yeah. I won for that was probably like 2019, 2018.
I mean, it was back when I was hosting, so yeah, I think it was 2018.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I pitched the weird ones. So no, but I have a question, guys. How can you say they're not those guards ain't guards, they're cons.
Yep.
Like, how do you relay
Where's the punctuation
that
go in that sentence?
David, you do a lot of writing. What's a more eloquent way to tell somebody those cons ain't cons, they're guards? Like, no, wait, those guards ain't guards, they're cons.
Those guards aren't guards, they're cons, stall them.
And then someone could have said, wait, on the bus, wait, those cons ain't cons, they're guards? No, but those cons ain't guards. Like, wait, where am I?
Driving around in circles.
How do you say that more eloquently? Like, what's the better way to relay that information?
I don't know. You need to be quick, though. It's the thing. There's very fancy, more complicated ways of.
I feel like just say like the cons have taken the plane or something. Like, because like Starkey takes this very well. His response to those guards ain't guards, they're cons, stall them. His response is, Christ. As if it's the same kind of reaction you get if like his wife has phoned him saying, can you pick up some milk on the way home? It's just like, I've got to go to the supermarket.
He should have been eating a sandwich instead. Starkey should have just eating a large, like a comically overstuffed sandwich when they said that to him.
And you'd have thought he'd have been slightly better on guard when he goes to approach John Malkovich as well.
I mean, he activates he takes the safety of his gun, then he hides it away inside of his jacket, so it's going to take ages to get it out again. He clearly this clearly isn't a regular occurrence, but the way that he responds to it is. And then he dies. This is the end of Starkey. I think this is the second time we've seen him, and he's dead.
I didn't even think about that. He takes this really well.
Christ. Again?
It's like in movies, like in the Avengers, when aliens come from out of the sky and the denizens of New York City, they're scared, but none of them are like, our world just changed. Like there's too many world-changing things happen in movies, and people just don't react to them. So Starkey is added to a long line of this kind of character, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad that he died. I feel like he had it coming with that response.
Yeah, that's true. And then Cyrus gets applause. I love that I love the nasty bits of this movie because they're cheering on Cyrus for just murdering a guy. Like he's the rock star of this plane. It makes me happy. Today we lose an MVP and we gain an MVP, Jay.
Well,
yes.
I don't think technically this is the last time we see Pinball alive. But I don't think he dies in this scene. He dies somewhere between this one and an upcoming one, I think.
Well, I don't know. The way when he kind of falls and makes that noise, it kind of suggests he's straight under that wheel, isn't he? Because
that's what I got.
He's found caught in the wheel, so he surely dies very.
Oh, I'm thinking it's a slow death. He's like mangled in there, just pleading. Okay. Let's say he gets taken out now because we like
based
Pinball.
On the noise. Yeah, based on the noise, it sounds like. Like, that's it. That's it for Pinball.
I love the grin from Warlock. Just when he sits down there, yeah, revenge.
Yeah, I was going to say, I do like the fact that they give him revenge too. It's, it is nice.
The coincidences are so extreme in this clip too, because we have Pinball running up to Warlock. Of all the guys to run up to, and all the windows, it's Warlock that he sees. But Warlock is sitting in the back. And then the one guy that gets hit, gets socked right in the tape recorder. Like just a perfect blast. And it's just, I love how the coincidences fall in place.
Although what always makes me laugh, I was going to point out about that scene is, I always find it bizarre how you can, when he knocks it out, you hear the sound like looping out, which makes no sense. It's a microphone. It's not a tape player.
Well,
it's like, it shouldn't hear anything.
In the script, it is a device that has the ability to play audio as well, and when Cameron puts it in his chest, he presses play then. So it's playing audio the entire time, and no one hears it because of the sandstorm.
Although technically, because it's all spooling out, you would hear nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but apparently, so when they start making a ruckus in the bus and the guards start beating them, they don't affect the recorder at all. They just beat them up. And everyone goes quiet, and then they hit the recorder. And I feel like this makes more sense. Physically, ridiculous. Doesn't make any sense that it actually work. But in terms of the story, yeah. What I don't like is that all of the prisoners in the back of the bus seem to be struggling and trying to make a fuss, when only 2 of them are fake cons. There's like Falzon and the pilot are in there, but there's 2 others that we see who are also kind of struggling and writhing around, and they are actual convicts.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah,
they're just annoyed they're not on the plane anymore.
Maybe they're claustrophobic.
Yeah,
they're tired of having tape and a mask over their mouth.
Wait, how did they play
this thing? They busted that tape recorder, and then minutes later they're like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, they know exactly what's going on straight away.
They tape off of the cops. That's what it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I guess true.
A few scenes down the line, Falzon's told them everything about who did what.
What do you think is going on the next bit though? Because it stops, and then Nicholas Cameron Poe is like watching it, thinking, "Oh yes, they're going to turn back," but then it just kind of carries on. It's a bit weird, that bit.
So I reckon they stop the bus. That's when they take the mask off and go, "Oh my god, it's Falzon!" And he's like, "Those guards ain't guards, they're cons." So he just relays the same information to Starkey.
Yeah.
And then they drive off because they don't want to give the game away. Because then we cut back to the guard who beat up Falzon, which is the actor Scott Ditty. He has become the sweatiest person alive in those space for 5 seconds. His face has been fully sprayed down, and now he's relaying, someone better call the marshal's office, because, yeah, things have gone awry.
Is he the sweatiest person so far?
He's the sweatiest person, and he wins the Sweat Bucket Award for this chapter, definitely.
Can we start handing out Sweat Bucket Awards?
I hope
You'd have thought with all that sand, the sweat would just congeal into some kind of like mask or something.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the sweatiest films ever made. People put on clothing in the next scene, it's saturated. I can't help noticing. Like some of the prisoners who have just got on the plane are so sweaty. They've just got on.
What are some other sweaty movies? Do the Right Thing.
12 Angry Men's very sweaty.
Oh yeah.
Body Heats is a very sweaty one.
Yes.
Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
Tango and Cash.
Yeah. I feel like the Fast and Furious ones, like the Rock in all of those, is just dripping.
It's just Rock. Sorry.
But he's sweaty
Rock...
enough for everyone.
Oh. Yeah, I love that became a joke, because I actually counted all the sweat on him during that movie, and I went out and did yard work, and then I went out and did yard work, got really sweaty, then I used a towel, I measured the towel dry, then I measured it with all my sweat to like max, like figure out how much Dwayne Johnson sweat, and then I measured it all, and I came up with the number of how much he sweat in Fast 5.
I feel like in Fast 5, his like moving through the film is like a snail. He just leaves his trail glistening behind him as he goes.
He's just goo floating behind him. Just, oh man. And then Vin Diesel doesn't sweat. Never sweats in that movie. He's being chased.
Or
no
in real
sweat.
life. He just, yeah.
He's just not. He's
Prince Andrew.
He's not.
I was going to say, like,
Are you saying Vin Diesel just doesn't sweat?
Yes, he and Prince Andrew are the same. They don't sweat. And that's the only similarity between the two.
How do they cool down?
It's like a dog. They just pant. They just
comes out of somewhere else.
He just grunts all the time.
Is this scientific?
Yeah.
All right, Sweat Bucket Award. Sweat Bucket
goes to Scott Ditty in this one. So he hasn't been in a lot of films. He actually has retired from acting to become a high school football coach and film studies teacher, and to focus on his Mormon faith. Which he retired about 10, 15 years ago, I think. But yeah, I think this is the only thing I think I've seen him in, but you get such an intense close-up on his face. He feels like a main character. He has like the thing is unspooling, and he has the slow, almost slow motion turnaround realization straight into camera. My God. It's like the proper, like you want him to pull some sunglasses on and get the dun-dun kind of.
He has the look of a guy that's in every Bruckheimer and Michael Bay movie.
Yeah. I think he missed out on a bunch of big roles in his career. I read an interview with him today. Well, like he was almost Bulldog Briscoe in Frasier. Oh
wow!
He was down to the last two and he missed it, so it went to the other guy, and then he just gave up acting. But he seems to be doing well for himself now.
Yeah.
And this is
teaching film studies and football.
Yeah.
Does he just show like football movies?
I think the interviewer said that he shows people films that he's in to study, which feels like
no, he doesn't.
He does. So like you can study films with the guy who's in them.
No.
And it's always like quite small roles. Like this is the only scene he's in. He's going to show him Con Air.
You know what? I'm going to do that with my students now.
Yeah.
American Reunion, Jay. I'm just going to do a syllabus.
This is how you pour wine on film.
Just all my terrible movies appearances and just teach that. And then teach an acting class, which I would fail horribly at.
How to be a stand-in.
Alright, if I'm doing a curriculum on football, did Chaplin do a football movie? Was it Buster Keaton? What was the football movie from one of the earliest football films ever made in the States?
There was the Harold Lloyd did one, didn't he? Oh no, I think Keaton did do one. It's college. There's college. The freshman's Harold Lloyd. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I watched it as well. There's one called College. It's like Buster Keaton's worst film. I'm trying to remember if it's actually. I can't remember if he plays football in it. I think he does various sports. But yeah, so I think it might have a little bit of football in there.
All right, yeah, do that. I would show The Longest Yard, original and remake.
And Mean Machine. You gotta show Mean Machine.
Remember the Titans. Oh yeah, yeah. You know what? I'll do football and
Friday Night
football. I could do a whole semester. Varsity Blues. I Don't Want Your Life.
Oh, what's the one with the Al Pacino in it?
Oh, Any Given
Sunday.
Yes, that's the one.
Game of Inches. The only part of that film I know.
Do you want to hear an amazing 1999 fact, David?
I know what this fact is.
All right, so in 1999, LL Cool J played a character named Preacher in Deep Blue Sea.
Hmm.
In any given Sunday, he played on a football team called the Sharks. And most footballs played on a Sunday. American football's played on Sunday. And then you have Into Deep in 99, where he plays a character called God.
Okay.
That's a pretty good coincidence right there, all three of those movies.
Yeah.
You can retire now.
There's another almost character we don't really get to see much of it in this film, which is the fuel jockey, the guy who's on top of the plane fueling it, who when the plane takes off, falls off the plane. We actually see two people, but I think it's the same person doing both ones. Did either of you look up who this guy is? No. Okay.
I did not.
I missed that guy.
So this guy is Dan Bell. Dan Bell is a stuntman. He was in Gone in 60 Seconds, a bunch of other films, but he also does some acting. He's one of the headbangers in the back of the car in Wayne's World. In
he's not.
The Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah, he's one of the members of the band.
Awesome.
That's one of the greatest scenes. That's one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, legendary moment in cinema now.
Yeah, and he's in this film, falling off a plane. Some years later.
Where is he? What's he down as? I'm trying to look.
Fuel jockey.
Fuel jockey.
Dan Bell. He plays Neil in Wayne's World.
I mean, get work where you can, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. He's in Wayne's World 2 as well, same character.
I like that they show that they're actually refueling it. They don't say they're refueling it, they just show somebody falling off the plane while refueling. So when it goes back in the air, you're like, okay, it has enough fuel. That's some pretty good.
Yeah,
right.
But the fact that they're pulling away before the fuel's done, when they get to Carson City, they then need to fuel up again. And then when they're going down in Vegas, something's like, we haven't got any fuel left, we're going to crash. So I like the kind of the through line of they never have enough fuel because they keep on leaving before they can refuel.
Wow. That's a pretty, I like that. That's good.
But in the script, they really pay attention to okay, we see the fuel truck arrive, the hose locks in, the guy starts fueling it, and then the character speaks before he falls off they make a whole meal of it that we don't need. We get it. It's fine.
And it's got a tight screenwriting right there. Always worried about fuel. What movies ever worry about fuel?
The Last Jedi. The Star Wars film, when fuel first got mentioned is in that one and in Solo. And it's never mentioned before. Awesome.
Wait, when do they mention, what's the scene for fuel?
In the Last Jedi,
they're being chased?
Yeah, they're being chased. They haven't got enough fuel to do another hyperspace jump or whatever it is. So they just got to go. It's the slowest space chase in history.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah.
And then she turns around and blasts through the ship.
Yeah, cuts the ship in half. One of the best scenes in all of Star Wars.
It's amazing. Couldn't Star Destroyers do that to planets, though? Am I stupid? Am I wondering?
I mean, I don't think the Star Destroyer, she doesn't survive. Laura don't, sacrifices herself to do that. So you'd have to have somebody kill themselves to cut a planet in half, I guess.
We'll get a droid.
They need the Death Stars to destroy the planets.
Yeah.
You know how long it took to build that Death Star? And then they just blow up almost immediately, all three of them. Different movie. Movies.
Star Wars.
I just spent a lot of time researching them, so they're really fresh on my brain. That's why I was just talking about those. But how about the sweet reference to Michael McDonald's song? Nice Sweet Freedom Michael McDonald song. Did you like that?
Didn't catch that. I wrote down the line, but I didn't realize that was a Michael McDonald song. He's not an artist I'm familiar with.
He's like Shine Sweet Freedom. He's Shine Sweet Freedom. That song.
Pass. I do not know.
It was written
Tell us about it.
It was written for the 1986 movie Running Scared. Which stars Billy Crystal and Gregory
That's
Hines.
the one where Billy Crystal's ripped, isn't it? Like the strangely attractive Billy Crystal film.
Yeah, he's a cop, and then they go down to Florida for a little bit, and then they go back to Chicago, and they're like, hey, we got to take out this drug dealer played by Jimmy Smits, who was in Star Wars.
Yes.
So it's
different character.
But the cast in this, you have Dan Hedaya, I don't know, Joe Pants. But yeah, Michael McDonald wrote it, huge artist. And the whole thing is shine, sweet freedom, shine your light on me. You are the magic. You're right where I want to be. Oh, sweet freedom, carry me along. We'll keep the spirit alive on and on.
Oh, he was in the Doobie Brothers and Steely Dan. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll be dancing in the moonlight. It was a popular song. It was pretty big. It was like number 4 on the U.S. charts. And then we have Swamp Thing mentioning it.
Yeah,
Con Air.
I haven't seen Running Scared, but I have seen the poster, and just seeing Billy Crystal with a 6-pack doesn't make sense in my head. I can't. It just, it's not right, and I don't like it. I mean, good for him, but I don't like it.
Billy? Oh, dang!
Yeah, it's not right.
Look at those abs.
I didn't
Not
realize. I was thinking, crazy.
What is happening? And he's on rollerblades.
Oh, that's the one film. It's the only one.
Did you guys like the film Running Scared with Paul Walker?
I haven't seen that one either.
I haven't seen it. It's no.
Oh, okay.
I think I can't remember if it was I'm getting mixed with something else. I can remember on an episode of the Lambcast, someone, because it kind of came and went in cinemas, and I just kind of felt, it's probably not very good, but someone was really standing up for it and saying it's worth watching.
It's a nasty little movie, but it has like Vera Farmiga in it, so anything with her is good. And Paul Walker is great at freaking out on screen. He's one of the best freak outers of cinema, and he's just freaked out the whole film. So,
cool.
Yeah. I wouldn't spend a night. If you have a night off, don't watch it.
Yeah.
Watch Con Air instead.
Always.
And then do that. But no, I thought that was kind of fun. I heard him say that, then I researched Running Scared, and then it led me to Michael McDonald. That seems like something Swamp Thing would quote.
Yeah.
He just seems like a guy who just sing randomly. So I appreciate that, like something a lot. So,
although he's got a very Lynyrd Skynyrd kind of look to him. I think
they will come up later in this film. Yeah.
Yes. Obviously. Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yes.
Yeah, he could be like he would be he could be a roadie for Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Traveling city to city, singing Freebird. Why not?
Shine, sweet Freebird, shine.
Yeah. I totally would have been a roadie for Foghat. I think that's probably what the band I would have picked. If I was alive in that era, I would have been a Foghat roadie. Sing their 2 songs that everyone knows.
I love how much Cyrus enjoys Swamp Thing's joke.
Yeah.
But no one here gives a flying F. He just says Cyrus just grinning. He likes that. He's having a good time.
That's when this movie, I'm telling you guys, that's when this movie's at its best, when they have tiny moments like this, and just watching Malkovich sell it. Like, I love how he sells that joke. Yeah. Like, he's so happy about it. I don't know. That's when I love this movie, these little scenes.
Yeah, and it's just, there's so much there's so many little gags and one-liners in there. It's just saturated with them. They don't all land, like, aerial pun not intended. But enough of them do. It's almost like Airplane or something like that, where you've just got gag. It's not that type of film.
Yeah.
But there's just loads of them, so enough of them hit to just make it. It's just so fun. That's the thing. I watched it the other day. It's a ludicrous film, Con Air. It's stupid, but it's just you can't not watch it with a big grin on your face. I think it's just so crazy. But those little gags are all part of it. It shows that it's not taking itself seriously, and although it is weird how, I mean, we're not looking at the right scene to go into this too much, but
it's okay.
The whole kind of the whole, especially the Steve Buscemi time, the humor is so irreverent as well. Like, it never takes itself seriously. In reality, it's actually, you've got all these like hardened criminals, all these murderers and rapists and stuff, and it's on a plane together. That's pretty horrific, but everything's played for jokes. Even this serial killer who's killed like dozens of kids and stuff like that is just totally played for jokes. It's just bizarre, and that's why I love it.
It's the benefit of having so many kind of like bad guy characters who can all have so much character to them, and you get just a real swathe of different types of person. Like Johnny 23, Danny Trejo, I don't think he has a funny line. I don't think he makes a joke. I can't think of one right now. And he's like the worst. He's like the baddest guy on here. Baddest in negative terms, not like he's cool in the 80s. But like everyone else has like a degree of comedy to them. Like MC Gainey, every laugh is a joke almost. And it's like Buscemi, like you say, has this kind of irreverent, quiet, but like blackly comic.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to also kind of dreading the conversations with the little girl.
Oh, yeah.
Where those chapters are going to go.
Where the film really treads a fine line, and I'm not sure it may cross.
This would be a very different film if you didn't see her alive again after the planes take
Yes.
off.
Yeah. I do wonder. Yeah, that whole bit is just like, what?
Could you enjoy this movie if you never see that girl again?
He get on the plane and like, oh, where were you going?
Yeah,
and he just picks up a head that's just next to him.
Yeah, because it is suggested until that kind of shot. It is suggested that it's yeah. I can remember when I first saw it, I was like, really? They've gone there?
Well, and there's I think it's taken out of the director's cut or the longer cut where he kills a guard on the plane just like he have to get out of his system. Like there's a guard next to him in one scene, and next scene that guard's dead, and they're like, "You feel better, Garland?" It's like, yeah.
That's the thing. I haven't seen the other cuts. I've got like a super basic like Blu-ray with nothing much extra on it. So
that's all I've got as well. So, yeah.
Is that because there's like an unrated cut? So I don't know if that's the one I've got or not. I don't really know. Yeah. And
it says it. I found it at Goodwill. I was just looking around. I'm like, there's an unrated cut of Con Air. I don't know why. I was like, I'm buying this. This has to be in my collection. And but he just straight up murders a guard. I don't know, but like this movie has a certain nastiness to it. But would that have taken it a little too over? Yeah,
especially the character who escapes at the end.
Yeah. It's like, well, hey, that's why it's just such a weird film. Again, like we said, it just. I mean, yeah. Again, we don't want to sound like don't make them like they used to, but it is. You definitely wouldn't get that kind of stuff going on in films these days. It's not necessarily. Maybe it's not a good thing. Maybe it's probably right that you know. Yeah. But it's it was just we're jumping ahead in the film, obviously, but
it's.
I want to hear the talk in the production meeting, and then Steve Buscemi's in a pool with this girl, and you think he's gonna kill her, but he doesn't, and then she runs up to the plane.
The pool's empty.
But get this, he's alive at the end, gambling.
He's having a great time.
Yeah. Sequel. So many little things going on here, but and then I guess the next scene coming up, Ving Rhames gets more humor later on, I guess, coming up too.
Yeah, I mean, but he's great. They're all great. Everyone's great.
And it's the cast. That's the thing as well. The cast's insane. Like it's brilliant. It's for a kind of bonkers action movie. It's just insane. I mean, you guys have probably talked about this already, but it's just mad the kind of level of talent in it.
Listen, we're talking about Con Air for 40 chapters. We're going to repeat things. So it's totally fine to talk about the cast.
Yeah, like we're not halfway through the film, and this is Dave Chappelle's last chapter. Like Dave Chappelle is in this film, one of the biggest comedians in the world. Is in Con Air, dies.
Falls into a wheel.
So when you
said like a damn plane?
You watched this in '97, and then you just watched this again. Yes. What was it in your head prior to watching this?
Well, it's been a while since I've seen it. I think I had seen it originally when I was asked to be on the podcast at first before I rewatched it. In my head, I thought the last time I saw it was at the cinema. But as soon as I started watching it, I was like, oh no, I know this film really well. I was like, I think what probably happened is I probably saw it at the cinema, and then I probably rented it on video or it taped off TV or something and watched it a few times afterwards. But I certainly haven't seen it for a good how old is this film? I was going to say 25 years, but no, I'd probably 22 years or something like that, 20 years at least. Probably not like 20 years. So it's been a long time. But I was pumped to rewatch it, so I was in the right mood because I always enjoyed it. Although in my head I was always a bit more, because there were a few of the Bruckheimer ones. I was always more. The Rock was usually my film, and Con Air was like a second place. But watching it again, although saying this, I haven't seen The Rock for a long time. I just absolutely adored it. I was just, as I say, a massive grin on my face throughout. It was just so kind of silly, but still exciting and funny, and as you say, it's there's not a boring minute in it. It just kind of rattles along. It's always got something funny to watch, or some awesome kind of action, ridiculously over the top action, or just some insanity. was saying that there's a lot of kind of cheesy kind of melodrama in there, but again, because it's amped up to that kind of extra level, it just adds to kind of the wacky kind of charm of it, because there's some really cheesy kind of bits with his daughter, but like just the very last bit of this chapter is kind of there's the I mean, that bit's not that cheesy, it's quite a nice little moment, but there's that kind of romance with I'm rubbish at character names, with the
Guard Bishop.
No, not the guard.
Okay, because she gives a little kiss.
His mate who needs his insulin.
Oh, Baby-O.
Oh, he smacks him on the back.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But through the film, some of the scenes with them are a bit kind of corny. Like the whole idea of he's got to get his insulin and stuff. It's, I don't know. It's kind of smacks of kind of melodrama, but it works because it's just, the film is just about this kind of pushing everything to 11. The drama, the gags, the action, and it's just why it works for me. It's just, I like it when you just go that extra mile in an action movie. Depends what sort of film it is, but for me, it just hits the sweet spot, because I always log what I watch on Letterboxd, and I was just straight up 5. I was like, this film. And I don't give a lot of 5s these days, but I just watched it. I was like, that was so much fun. I can't give it anything else. And then I got into a big argument. One of my, not a big argument, not like a nasty argument, but did
you lose a friend because of this 5-star rating?
But Andy Goulding, who's one of the writers on Blueprint Review as well, he replied and said, he thinks, because I put my review was something like, I could probably bring it up, but it was something ridiculous like, this film's so ludicrous, I think it's some kind of masterpiece. But Andy Goulding replied and said, I thought it's the most boring film I've ever seen. I was like, how? It's like, Andy. I can understand people not liking Con Air. I am totally cool with that. It's a silly film. I don't mind if somebody doesn't like Con Air, but boring. It's like, what?
I'm glad he didn't win his Lamperty recently.
and you know what? The fact that you gave it 5 stars, which, I mean, when you take it in context of being a 1990s high concept Jerry Bruckheimer first time feature length director Dominic West movie, and just when it comes to action films, like there's enough character action, fire truck chases. I always forget about characters to give that, like, for what it is. It could be given a 5 out of 5 because it's confident. It's not trying to be Citizen Kane, obviously, but it's trying to be Con Air, and I think it succeeds at being Con Air. So I totally get your 5-star.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's probably an over the top rating, but as I say, just in terms of fun,
it matches my rating.
Yeah, it's just fun. It is so much fun, and it just does what it needs to do, and does it well. It just works for me. It just works.
I mean, you got to put these movies in context of what you're watching. Like, if you watch the 13th Halloween film, you're like, all right, I'm watching the 13th Halloween film. You know, you're not watching 1978 Halloween.
You rate it for what it is and what it aims to do and what you're expecting, maybe, I guess, as well. I tend to do that with a lot of my reviews. My scores seem to be. I tend to score on the higher end. I'm quite lenient. I think I just enjoy watching movies. It's very rare. It's rare I give low scores. I need to be really bored or pissed off about something to give it a proper low score. But at the same time, I rarely give 5. I do a lot of 4s, 3.5s, 4.5s, but I don't know. So 5, it's just got to click and be like, when the film finishes, you're like, damn, that was a good time. And yeah.
On your letterbox, what are some 5s? Recent 5s.
Other than Connor.
I tend to. I think for me, I think one of the big reasons I don't give many 5s is I struggle to give 5 to a film that I've only seen once. I think I need that extra kind of nostalgia factor to push it over.
Exactly what I do as well. I so few films get. I think the last time I gave a film a 5 stars I watched it was a Lego Batman movie, which is a transcendent experience for me.
That is awesome.
You do love that movie.
I'm gonna
look at. This is gonna be really boring because I'm gonna be.
I just watched Pearl. I gave that 4 stars because I felt like that was a very effective sort of Technicolor throwback. I like that a lot. That was cool.
The last few recent ones, there was Notorious, Hitchcock's Notorious. I love Hitchcock, so yeah. Die Hard, you've got to give that 5. E.T. There's a lot of kind of classic ones I've seen lots of times, so it's. One of the few ones that was a first time watch that I gave 5 recently was Destiny Rides Again, which was absolutely amazing. I don't know if you've seen that, but it was way more enjoyable than I expected.
Okay.
But,
You gave 5 stars to Tremors. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, Tremors that's another one that's just rewatching. I've always liked Tremors, but rewatching it, I got the sent the Blu-ray to review, and it's just kind of perfect. It just nails everything, like the tone, the cast. It's just awesome. Like Con Air, well, I think Tremors is. I don't know if that's the right word. Tremors almost a little classy is maybe the wrong word.
It's a perfect movie.
Yeah. I don't know if Con Air's not a perfect movie. Con Air just makes me very happy. But I think Tremors is genuinely a perfect movie. Perfectly toned, kind of perfectly pitched horror comedy. I think it's fantastic.
I mean, the cliff that he's peeing off in the beginning is the cliff that he chases the graboid off at the end of the movie. Like,
that's the thing. It's really well written. It's really well acted. It's just spot on. It just happens to be about giant kind of underground worm things.
You have a low bar for perfect films, Mark. In terms of he's peeing off the cliff that he then uses for
what if you watch Tremors, the pogo stick, the tractor, the ammo, the refrigerator, the truck, the town, their skill set. They're in the middle. They established that they're in the middle of nowhere. They established the jumping scenes. Like for what Tremors is, it has a good script, a tight script, and it all sort of falls into place quite organically. And watching Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon, they're just perfection together, and they're so much fun.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's
the last movies I gave a 5 stars to are Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Oh yes.
I still need to see that.
And then RRR. I would have given that 40 stars.
I still haven't seen it. I need to get that watched. I'm terrible with new releases at the minute. I'm way out of touch with everything.
I've watched Cyrano 3 times. I gave that 4.5 or 5, and I gave The Night Comes For Us 4.5, but that's not 5.
Nice.
So I don't give out many 5s. But RRR is beautiful. Portrait of a Lady on Fire is beautiful. Cyrano is beautiful.
I haven't given a 5-star this year.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I have, but they're all for old movies. As I say, I don't think I've given anything new 5 stars. But I've not seen many new films.
Like the newest thing I've given a 5 stars to is like Avengers Endgame, which
how long?
A film I love. But yeah, I'm very much a populist. It's like Alien, Jurassic Park, the Toy Story trilogy, Saving Private Ryan, Indiana Jones. The films that everyone already loves.
I give Too Fast, Too Furious 5 stars.
Of course you did.
I have The Room with 5 stars, Too Fast, Too Furious, and The Royal Tenenbaums next to each other, 5, 5, 5.
Nice.
That's an odd rating right there. I might have to change some of those.
So something that we've made a pact to do on this show, David, is every time we lose a con, we want to say what they did, say what their crime was. And technically, we lose 3 cons in this chapter. They don't die, but they get transferred, and we never see Donald, Londell, and Watts ever again.
Cool. Oh, so we'll come up with what they did?
Yeah, we got to come up there's 3 guys. There's 3 guys on this show. Let's do one each. So, right. Who do you want to pick, David? Whose crime do you want to assign?
God,
assign the crime.
I'm trying to remember. That's the thing. I can't remember who's who.
These are characters we have barely seen.
Yeah, I was going to say, God knows. We're just making up what they did.
Yeah, so basically, yeah.
Old Con, Londell, and who?
Yeah, Old Con we've assigned. DJ assigned Old Con as being he killed a bunch of skinheads, shot up a diner because he's got PTSD from Vietnam.
Yeah.
Basically. And remember, you got to remember, David, these are the worst of the worst.
Worst.
Well, actually, no, these aren't the worst of the worst. These are just being transferred to another prison near Carson City.
They're not
so
too
these
bad.
could be anything. Yeah.
What were the names again?
Watts.
I'm going to look them up.
Donald, Londell, and Watts. So for me, the easiest one to assign would be Donald because it's Doug Hutchison. So you can just say he's Doug Hutchison and then move on. Who is a guy who married a very young woman who he had been dating before they were married, and we don't like to talk about that, so we don't.
Yeah, so he just young stuff.
Yeah, let's just say young stuff and leave it at that and move on. And then we just leave Londell and Watts to be assigned.
Okay, so
Let's
Londell
put
and
young
Watts.
stuff in quotes.
I'm looking them up now to remind who they are. Obviously wasn't paying enough attention.
Oh yeah,
Watts
these are
is
people
like
that
the
you
chillest
barely
dude.
see their face.
Watts is the chillest guy ever in this movie. Because he sits behind Cage, he sits behind Baby O. He kind of laughs a little bit. He's relaxed. I don't think anything bad Watts got into. What do you think?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I do like the fact the actor's last name is Poindexter.
Yeah, Jerris Poindexter. Great name. Wonderful name.
Awesome.
What's something a
Character
super
naming,
chill
Connor.
person would go to prison for? A
Well,
long
there's an
time?
obvious one is
Yeah.
drugs.
He got high, he got caught.
He was just, he had like
I
a
think-
mushroom dealing.
Yeah, or
Operation?
if he's in like a pretty high security jail, it must have been a big operation, maybe some type of giant kind of weed farm or like mushrooms or. I'm thinking if he's chilled, it's more the kind of natural side of drugs rather than like some of the.
I feel
kind
like
of
if
breaking bad
he's
stuff.
so chill, maybe he wasn't like part of it, and he just happened to be there during a raid, and
That's
he just
it.
kind of got swept up in it and got smoothed
Yeah,
along. And
yeah.
now he's doing 5 to 10 for just being in the wrong place.
I like that because you watch this movie and he's super relaxed. So yeah, wrong play. Well, no, I like thinking that he grew it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
he
the
got like 5 to 10 for an acre.
yeah.
Okay, I like it.
All right, and then Londell. You don't see much of him in this.
Yeah, I'm trying looking up. I don't recognise the actor. I'm trying. The picture's rubbish on IMDb. So
This is David Ramsey plays Londell, who has since been in The Flash as John Diggle,
Yep.
I haven't seen the Flash.
and Arrow as John Diggle. He's in 170 episodes. This is an actual actor. This is someone who's, no offense to
Yeah.
the other guy.
Oh, yeah.
This is someone who's like working.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bodies.
I don't
bodies,
watch any of
bodies.
the DC shows, so I don't.
No, yeah, I don't
know.
The face, I recognise the face from now, from a better picture on IMDb, because his kind of main one is he's shades on, he's looking to the side, he can't really tell who there he is. But on some of the other ones, I recognise him.
So
He's in 2 episodes of The West Wing.
in The Flash, he wears a leather jacket a lot. What's something someone who wears lots of leather jackets would get arrested for?
Oh, a fight, a bar brawl, maybe he
There it
killed
is.
someone. Yeah.
He was a bouncer who went too far.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
But when I say too far, he like went too.
he went
far.
through a guy.
Yeah, like
He was defending the honour of a lady, I think, and just broke
When the
someone's
judge is
arm
reading
and
out,
shoved
like-
it in his heart. I don't know. I just played Mortal Kombat as a mistake.
He ripped out someone's spine.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, he ripped. Like, he's bouncing. A fight breaks out. It spreads. One of the bartenders almost gets hit. He grabs the guy and just pulls his head right out of his body. Fine.
Finish him.
It's a fatality.
But I would love to hear the judge saying that. So you were a bouncer at a bar and a fight breaks out and you were trying to stop it, but then it got a little too crazy and you ripped the head and spine out of a man.
It says here you went too far. Can you explain what happened?
Listen, if I didn't even know I could do that. Like, I know I'm strong, but that guy must have been on some, like, I don't know.
It's made of tissue paper or something. They killed an origami man.
Yeah, what was going on with that guy's flesh and skeletal system?
It's here in my hands. You look at it. It looks okay, but
Just rip that thing out. So what, is that good?
I like it. Yeah.
Is that good,
He's like-
David?
He's the most violent
yeah.
person on the plane.
I think it sounds accurate.
And it wrecked my leather jacket.
That's
beautiful.
That's all
Oh, yeah.
the guy did.
If they'd kept him on board, they would have survived. They would have won the whole thing. He could have taken everyone out at Lerner Airfield.
Like, how strong would you have to be to?
Okay, Mark, I know you do tests on things that happen in films. You should not do this one.
Have you ever seen Riccio, the story of Riccio?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. I love it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna test that out. I'm not down for spine ripping. And I was a bouncer. I got headlocks, but I never came close to a full on, popping someone's head off. Could you even blame him for that? Like, that's not.
Yeah, it's an unexpected result. It's
Yeah.
not. It would be like unintentional murder rather than whatever that's called in court.
Like, remember in X-Men that guy becomes like water? He becomes like a water mutant.
Oh
and then
yeah,
he falls
the
apart.
senator. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe he got a hold of one of those guys. They bring in like a specialist and they're like, I have no clue how he ripped out his head and spine intact. Like, I don't
So
know.
it'd be
how
like a sand equivalent to the water guy, where he just kind of turns into dust around. This isn't
Sandman.
pleasant.
Yeah, that sounds right. Or maybe a Yautja ran in, got behind him, and pulled the head while he had the head in a headlock, because the Yautjas can rip heads and spines from bodies. So an invisibility, and then no one believes him. And he's one of the characters in The Predator.
He's Jake Busey.
Wait, he's a scientist.
Yeah. That's it. He was so like he couldn't believe what happened. He had to like do some research into it and work and just fully understand it.
What do you guys think about The Predator? I know this is way off topic, but I want to hear what you two think.
I was very disappointed.
Yeah.
The Shane Black one.
Which one? I still haven't seen it.
It's quite bad in my opinion. Shane Black is one of my favorite filmmakers in terms of writing, directing, occasionally acting. But I love Iron Man 3. I love Kiss of Bang Bang is maybe one of my favorite Christmas films. It's one of my first ever favorite. First ever. I love Kiss Bang Bang. And I was like, oh, he's making a Predator film. Stuck full circle. He's in Predator. Now he's making the Predator. This is gonna be great. And the cast they had involved, like Thomas Jane's in it, and Keegan-Michael Key, and Jake Busey's coming back, and it's so many, Sterling K. Brown, so many great people in it. And then it was just kind of crap. It's just, it's like poorly made. It's not even just like, this is kind of boring. Like there's characters die, like major characters die off screen or like in a second. One of the major characters like dies and you barely see it. And like that's what I'm here for. I'm here to watch these people die. These actors that I love, I want to see them explode.
I think the only character who could handle Shane Black's dialogue was Sterling K. Brown. Like I think a lot of the actors just couldn't. They're not Robert Downey Jr.'s. They're not Ryan Gosling's, Russell Crowe. They just couldn't catch the cadence of his writing. Yeah. That's what I felt.
I feel like Keegan-Michael Key could, but he's not in it a lot. He's like a very minor character.
Yeah, him and TJ are best friends.
Yeah. But yeah, I want it to be better. But I have only seen it once. I saw it in the cinema, did a podcast on it, blocked it out of my mind. So maybe I should go back and revisit it just to see if it is as bad as
I don't know. I think most people tend to not be too pleased with it. I've seen a few people stand up for it, but most people don't tend to like it. So I think it's partly why I didn't rush out to see it. The reviews have kind of put me off. But yeah,
I don't know if this is just like being an old out of touch guy again, because I've heard younger people ranking the Predator films recently and like, I really liked the Predator. It's so much better than that first one with Arnie in it. That's kind of dull and just nothing really happened.
No.
they put that one at the bottom. They put like AVP Requiem above it. Like, no, Get Out. Your opinion is invalid.
I wish I could see Jay's face when these rankings drop.
It was like a podcast I like, and I was listening to it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, they're going to talk about the Predator. What? No, stop it, go back. What? Oh my god.
It's like, I want to see someone rank Jurassic Park 3 as number 1 and see what Jay does.
I'm married to that person, Mark.
Although I am someone who stands up. I don't think it's the best, but I enjoy Jurassic Park 3. I don't think it's that bad. I think the ending is crap. But the rest of it, I kind of enjoy. I
like that it's only an hour and a half long. Like kind of get in and get out.
It's fun. It's almost like a little low budget kind of indie Jurassic Park almost, because it's just short and sweet and fun.
Like the it just ends stuff is great.
Poorly.
Yeah, it ends like just the army shows up. Everyone's here. Everyone's out. And Billy's still alive. That guy we all saw die. He's still alive. He got torn apart by pterodactyls. No, he's alive.
That Billy.
They've held a grudge against that actor who's never going to remember since. Anytime he's in a film, I was like, I don't like you. You should have died in Jurassic Park 3. Alessandro Nivola. That's the one. Who, apparently is good in other films, but I just have this grudge, so I can never accept it.
I just like that I can get you wound up. Most of the time, it's me doing that, so this is good.
Yeah, so there's some films that do it.
Who's the guy cheering for Cyrus when he goes back on the plane? There's someone jumping up and down. That's which is that Diamond Dog who's cheering? Like, you're the best. It's like, you're the best.
So it's like, you're the man, Cyrus, when he comes on. Because you shot a guy in point blank range who didn't have a gun out. Well done. I'm just trying to find. It's not Diamond Dog because I think it's a white guy. It could be Billy Bedlam because I think there's some goatee in there. I think it's Billy Bedlam. It's Nick Chinley because he's like in previous scenes and in the script he was like a boyish schoolboy who's like he's fanboying over Cyrus and Diamond Dog in some bits in the script. So I think it's him.
Oh, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah, because he's like a white guy with a goatee.
And when he gets on the plane, they're yelling. Everyone's clapping for him. There's some interesting camaraderie between these criminals. I kind of like it. I like that
they're all grateful to Cyrus. He's getting them out of there.
Is there ever any infighting between these criminals? So if Cameron wasn't on this, would there be factions? Or would they, you know what I mean? Like, everyone seems pretty chill when they're partying. They seem to just be quite happy.
Yeah, I think the only animosity we've seen has been Poe and Billy Bedlam, Poe and Johnny 23.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the troublemaker.
Cyrus, early on, Cyrus says something to about rapists and things to Johnny 23, doesn't he?
Yes, that's true.
Early on, there are a few little jabs, but I guess in prison, people aren't going to be saying flowery pleasantries to each other anyway, so it's kind of normal.
And Carl's the Nazi muffin. He died. He feels like a guy who would have had a problem with the likes of Diamond Dog or Pinball or some of the Collins who aren't white. But he was taken out early, so we got rid of that element from the flight. But now we've got, I think either Conrad or Viking in a later chapter is called a Nazi or a swastika wearing character. So we might still get some of that potential.
Oh, got it.
We'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. Conrad strikes me as somebody who's not a nice guy on the plane, but we'll get to it. He's the bald recent addition to the flight. David.
Oh no, Brendan Kelly. That's
Brendan Kelly. Yes.
Wait, he's not Viking. He's
No, he's Conrad.
Oh, Conrad. Yeah, got it.
But yeah, because the actor Conrad Good plays Viking, and the actor Brendan Kelly plays yes.
That's what
designed to frustrate me.
No, yeah, you're right. He would be trouble. He would be the one. He would be, Conrad.
We found out from we had Ty Grandison Jones on last week. He didn't get on with Brendan Kelly off screen. So maybe Brendan was in character, perhaps.
Brendan was eating his food.
He's eating his food, like off of his plate.
They're actors, and they're eating each other's food. That's nuts.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, cons in the air. I think we're at peak cons in the air in this chapter. We have, technically, there are 24 cons we see in this chapter, but 4 of them are on a bus, and one of them dies during the getting in the air process. He's caught in the wheels. So we have 19 surviving cons in the air.
Yeah, I was going to say, although he does get in the air, he's just stuck on the wheel.
Yeah, so I would say before the chapter ends, we have 20. Once the chapter has ended, we have 19. Yeah. Living cons in the air. And it's only going to go down from here.
They don't go very high, though, I guess, probably by the end of this.
But hey, they're in the. I counted when Poe was in prison. I counted that was 1 because he's doing pull-ups in his cell. So that was a con in the air. That was all I needed.
At the end of this clip, when he hits Baby O in the back, Nick Cage got huge for this role. I don't know if you see the guy. He's just sitting. I've never seen him like this before. We've talked about Beefy Cage, Strong Cage, Jack Cage, but this is probably the biggest he ever got. Like, he's just looking huge in that scene.
I was kind of looking ahead at some future chapters. The scene where he meets Larkin.
Oh yeah.
It's like he's recently gone down to having just the vest on. That's just intimidating. Like, watching on screen, let alone like being in the same room as him. I was like, my God, is this Nicolas Cage? What the hell happened to you, man? So
he gave everything for this. Hey, so David, I love your movie recommendations, and I feel like you watch a lot of random action movies. Not random, but like a lot of older action films that people might not have on the radar. What are some action movie recommendations for our listeners that people might not know about, or like something that or need more eyes? What would you recommend?
I'm always, my go-to for action is martial arts movies. I'm a big martial arts movie fan, especially the proper like Hong Kong original kind of stuff. I guess if we're talking martial arts movies that not necessarily remind me totally of Con Air, but if you're thinking of kind of crazy over the top martial arts movies, I'd probably go with Duel to the Death. That is utterly bonkers.
Duel to the Death?
Yes, I was trying to think. Duel to the Death, 1983, because there's probably lots of Duels to the Deaths. That is awesome. It's got ninjas in it. It's got an awesome. It's got. I try to remember because I get it mixed up with some of the things. I think this is the ninjas are especially crazy in this. You've got ninjas that combine together to make a super ninja. You've got. Is this the one that has? I might be getting it mixed up with something else, but I think it's got one where it's got ninja ladies who show their boobs to kind of distract good guy kind of monk martial arts experts because they can't look at naked women. It's against their religion. They're like, so when he gets the boobs out to do that to him and then kills him. And then it ends with a ludicrously dramatic fight next to on the edge of a cliff next to like some sort of crashing waves. And it's just absolutely awesome. I would also recommend Ninja in the Dragon's Den, which has got loads of ninjas in, which is awesome. And it's got the coolest theme tune ever. What's it? Shaka Ninja. It's absolutely amazing. But yeah, if you're looking for kind of ridiculous, silly, but with some really cool action in, yeah, just Ninja in the Dragon's Den. All sorts. Magnificent Butcher is one of my favourites as well. That's very good with Sammo Hung, who's a legend. One of my favourite. And that's directed by Yuen Wu Ping, the guy who did the martial arts choreography in The Matrix and stuff like that, and Crouching Tiger, and he did that film, and that's just got awesome fighting, and that's always one I would really recommend. But yeah,
do you think Con Air would be better if there were ninjas on board?
Everything's better with ninjas.
Correct answer. Okay.
All right, so this is cool. We have 1982 Ninja, and it's if you're in the States, you can watch them for free on Freevee. So you can do Ninja in the Dragon's Den and Duel to the Death 1980. It says 1983 right here.
Yes. That's what I said. I think that's what I said.
But I saw somewhere else. You said 82 or something, but I also saw 82. So just maybe the years released. But yeah, you can watch them for free on Freevee. So that's awesome.
They're a lot of fun.
And Jay, can you put up with something real quick? I got to do something with David.
Go for it. I mean, I'm just kind of watching the trailer on IMDb for Duel to the Death. It's just playing on mute, and
it's awesome.
There's just a giant ninja blocks out the sun and splits out into 8 smaller ones who disappear into the sand.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna do a Scott Adkins movie.
Ooh, nice.
Because you're a Scott Adkins guy.
It's not something I can partake in.
So we're going to do a Scott Adkins
I met
draft.
him. I've got a photo with him posing like that, looking like an idiot. Me looking like an idiot.
I was going to say, well, he's looking like an idiot.
All right, so Scott
You're just there
Adkins
pointing
movies,
and laughing at it.
We'll do a draft. So I'll let you go first, and then I'll go second, and we'll get 5 total movies each.
I'm trying to say that. I must admit, I've not seen enough of them, but I've seen a few.
I guarantee you've seen more than I have.
Are we going from best to... I'm going to go with...
Whatever you want.
I'll go with a classic one, which kind of got him noticed, which is Undisputed 2, Last Man Standing.
Oh, yeah. Good one. That's really... Boyka.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to go Avengement, because I think it's his best performance.
Oh, yes. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to go next with Accident Man, which has just got a sequel, but I'm desperate to see it.
Oh, that's a good one. All right, I'll go Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning. Because that one is one of the most insane movies I've ever seen. I don't know if you've watched it, but it's wildly violent.
I've got it. It's in my collection waiting to be watched, but I haven't got around to it yet.
He was on EastEnders?
Really?
He was on 6 episodes of EastEnders and 2 episodes of Hollyoaks.
Awesome.
What the hell?
Okay, next I have to go with Ninja Shadow of a Tear. I've got to have a ninja movie in there.
All right. Yeah, he does have a bunch of Ninja Shadow of a Tear.
Yes, that's the second one, yeah.
Okay. He does them all with Keith David, which I love. Makes me very happy. All right, so I have those. All right, so I'm going to do... I should probably branch out, but I don't care. I'm going to do Triple Threat, because he wears one of the worst wigs of all time, and it's Tony Jaa, Iko Uwais, Michael Jai White, just Michael Bisping, awesome action. Tiger Chen, great cast. So I'll do those 3. What's your 4th?
I'm going to go Expendables 2. It's more mainstream. He's not the main guy in it, but he gets a little bit of time to shine. And I love the Expendables movies. I enjoy them.
Listen, there's jet skis in it used during an action scene, and he fights Jason Statham.
And we have to mention that was directed by Simon West, director of Color.
Yes.
So contractually obligated to say that happens. That's what happens.
So I'm going to take a more recent one, and that probably people haven't watched, but Day Shift with Jamie Foxx, because in that, Scott Adkins has a kitchen fight with a vampire, and he spin kicks it.
I have seen that. I liked it.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so last one, David.
Didn't realize that was him.
Yeah.
Last one, or I'm tempted to go with Ninja One, but I've already know I'm gonna go left field. I'm gonna go Wolf Warrior, which he's like the bad guy in it. It's a Chinese kind of overly patriotic war action movie, but it's ludicrously over the top, and I really enjoyed it. And he plays one of the main bad guys in it.
I love it. I'll finish up with The Debt Collector because I've watched both those movies and I like both of them, so I'm gonna take The Debt Collector.
Nice.
So I have exactly 5 films of his I've seen left that you didn't pick. So my team, which is not an official team, would be Doctor Strange, Zero Dark 30, The Bourne Ultimatum, Unleashed, and X-Men Origins Wolverine. His films everyone's seen.
Yeah, you would wipe us out. But he gets killed in a lot of his big budget movies. So American Assassin, Bourne Ultimatum, Doctor Strange. Whenever he's in a big budget movie, he gets killed.
Yeah, these aren't Scott Adkins films. They're films Scott Adkins dies in.
Yeah.
But wait, Savage Dog. I think Savage Dog is the one with Keith David. Makes me very happy. Don't watch Hard Target 2. Don't watch Hard Target.
I really want to see Accident Man. That's the one I legitimately want.
That's the one where I met him. We went to a special screening of it, and he did a Q&A and stuff. And he seems like the nicest guy ever as well. He's really, really, really cool guy. And the Accident Man, he kind of really put his. I think he exec produced it or something, and he really pushed to get it made. Yeah. Oh, he wrote the script. Wow. But he really pushed for that, and it was cool listening to his his Q&A. And I say I got to meet him. It was more just one of these everyone queues up and has a photo taken with him and says, and we go, oh, I love you, man, and he shakes your hand or something. That's about it. But it was cool. It was as I say, he seems like a genuinely nice guy. But it was cool.
there's not many people who can indulge me with my Scott Adkins fanfare, and you once said that you're a Scott Adkins fan, so I had to do it.
Yeah. Well, I say I am, but I haven't seen enough of them. But whenever I do, I always enjoy them.
My father-in-law, whenever we go visit their family, we just put a Scott Adkins movie on, play some darts and drink some beer. And we never I know how good the Scott Adkins movie is, depending on whether or not we can finish the game of darts. Because if he loves it, he just stares at the TV, and he never does his turn. So if we finish a game of darts, it's okay. But if we don't finish the movie, it means he loved it. That's the Scott Adkins rating right there. My father-in-law.
I think
when we come back to do the Expendables 2, the podcast, I will try and see more Scott Adkins films.
Yes.
Well, Accident Man,
Avengement.
Accident Man, Avengement, I would watch.
Yeah.
Day of Reckoning is you're gonna need a shower after watching that, but there's some great action.
I will pass on that one then.
The two ninja ones are fun. I like the ninja ones. Mm-hmm. And the Undisputed. I've only seen Undisputed 2, but I've heard that he's not in the first one.
Blake is good.
Yeah, but what happened was that the Undisputed films, the first film, he's not in it, and then they made Undisputed 2. Like the first film, is it Wesley Snipes? Or am I making it up?
Yeah, Wesley Snipes and Ving Rhames fight each other, and then Ving Rhames leaves prison, Wesley Snipes stays, and then it becomes Michael Jai White and Boyka.
Yeah. So they made Undisputed 2, and then what happened was Boyka, the bad guy, became the most popular person, and then the rest of the series is more about him, really. So the Undisputed 3 was he became the star. I think I've not seen it, so I don't know, but he kind of took over. Scott Adkins took over the series pretty much, even though he was just the bad guy in the second one. It's weird because everyone just liked him so much.
Dude can do the craziest kicks.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, Boyka Undisputed's good. If y'all ever have time to watch that, that's a good one.
Excellent. Do you have any more thoughts on Con Air as a whole, or this chapter as a chapter?
I was trying to think. Does it make any? I think I've talked about all the things I was going to mention. No, yeah. As I say, I just love it. It's one of those films that just hits my sweet spots. As I say, 5-star film for me. Some kind of weird, bizarre masterpiece that's not really a masterpiece, but kind of is. You know what I mean? It's just awesome.
We didn't mention kind of the second unit footage of cars bouncing through puddles that we get a little bit in this chapter.
It's super slick as well. I think that's what you kind of had that kind of happened in the 90s. A lot of the action movies were just really slickly made. Like they just looked nice or nicely shot. They spent a lot of money on them. You don't get that as much these days. A lot of proper action movies go straight to streaming or whatever, and they're kind of cheap. They can still look pretty cool, but not like they kind of did in that era where they were proper blockbusters.
Yeah, they went out of their way to drive in puddles. Second unit just got, hey, you see that puddle? Run into it.
Go for it.
Yeah. We gotta cover up that there's not a sandstorm here, because when they pull out, there's no sandstorm. And then
it's like like pile of boxes in the 70s, and pills in the 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
The shot where Cyrus shoots Starkey, then it kind of cuts to a wide shot. It's like sandy and dusty near them, and then you like to the right of it. It's not. It's clear. So it's a very, very small soundscape.
Very concentrated sandstorm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, David, for joining us. What have you got to plug? Where can the listeners find you elsewhere?
Oh well, yeah, blueprintreview.co.uk is where I do my reviews. We tend to focus on physical media, kind of Blu-rays and things. And I don't know when this is going to be posted, but
next week.
Next week. Well, I probably won't have the review posted, but hopefully at some point in the early mid-November, I will have a film noir, Universal Noir box set reviewed, so lots of film noir reviews to look forward to. Yeah.
Very nice. And of course, you're regularly on Lampardy over on the Lambcast playing piano in music trivia.
Yes.
Which is always, we're always grateful to have you.
Running out of ideas, I'm going to have to start recycling songs soon, unfortunately, but we'll see how I get on.
Learn some new ones. They're easy, I hear.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Mark, what have you got to plug this week?
I don't know, Movie Songs on Flicks, Movie Songs on FLIX, check that out. And then Con Air, the podcast, and then Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. We just did an underwater episode, so listen to that.
We did. It was fun. We didn't record it underwater. We recorded the podcast on.
We'll record it inside of a superstore, and then we added the VFX in later.
And it looked great.
Yeah.
But you can't see it because it's a podcast.
Yeah.
As for me, then yeah, Deep Blue Sea, the podcast, covering Deep Blue Sea adjacent films. It's always fun. And when David's playing the piano on the Lampardy, I'm hosting it generally. So that's once a month over on the Lambcast. I do movie trivia. Great. Well, thank you again, David, for joining us for Chapter 15 of Con Air. I have been Jake Lewitt.
And I'm Mark Hoffmeyer.
Come back next week or the bunny gets it.
Sigh.
Anora!